Hey everybody, welcome back to Mary Bird's Backyard Garden. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mary.
And we are back. We appreciate you guys hanging with us.
We really appreciate you. Yes.
Absolutely. We had put a little update in last week to kind of let everyone know what was going on. But we are back now and ready for our next podcast, Mary.
I'm happy to be back in the garden.
I know.
It's wonderful.
It's been, weather's getting better. We're weather people. I think we're just like old people. When we were young, we used to go, man, that's all they talk about is weather.
That's all they talk about is the
and
weather.
Doggone it, we like the weather too. We're not that old, but geez, we do like the weather. But yes, the weather's looking better. That's nice.
It's been great. We were just standing out in the backyard, kind of like a sparrow with our arms stretched wide, letting the wind blow. It was great.
It is. So why do you think that is the weather thing with people get older? Because we have a lot of other stuff that we do, but the weather's just a cool thing.
Well, as gardeners, you're just so close to the weather. You have to work with it.
Okay.
You have to prepare for it.
I like that, other than just thinking just because we got older, and that's kind of what we did.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with elderly.
No age. It's not an age thing.
It's not our age.
All right. I'm going to go with that with you.
It's because we're down to earth.
I appreciate you. Appreciate what you did do there. All right. So, as we always do, Mary, let's start it out with what's new in the garden this week.
Oh, well, we've been getting into the garden, really getting dirty. We've been digging. We've been cleaning. That just feels so good. I got to tell you, I love that part of it. We've just been tidying all our stuff away. We did a reorganization in the garage, which is our tool area.
We did.
And I love that. Very excited about it. It feels like it's much more convenient to be able to get in, get what I need, and go. And we went to a local hardware store and we picked up a little hand truck. And I had an idea to put like a trash can on the base of the hand truck so I could stick all the long-handled tools in it and just roll one thing out to the garden instead of making 95 trips back and forth.
Yeah, no, that was a good idea because we initially had a shed out in the backyard.
We did.
By the house. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, as cool as they are, and we don't have 10 acres or anything. So we're in a subdivision. Mm-hmm. And what we found out pretty quick is any critters that are around, they're going to get underneath it and get behind it. There's really no way to not have that happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's just not what we wanted to do.
Right.
So even though that's a great option for people to maybe have a little more room, or if there's some other flexibility there. But for us, it wasn't, we tried it and it was cool to have the stuff outside, but it was just attracting things there that we really didn't want
and
to.
Our workflow didn't, it wasn't, what do I want to say? It wasn't like supportive of the workflow in the garden. So if I wanted to plant seeds, I would have to do a big production of gathering everything out of the shed.
Yeah, it really wasn't. I mean, it seems like it was advantageous, but it really actually wasn't. So you have created in our garage. We have a cool setup in the garage. It's what they call a 3-car garage, but it's only because it's the 3 part is a shotgun garage. So it's the left side, is built to hold 2 vehicles. It's deep, and then the right side would be like the size of the normal one. Right. So what we've done is taken the deeper part and kind of turn that into your gardening area.
That's
where
true.
You can put your tools and stuff. And like you said, you're going to be able to now just kind of, and you've been doing it. You just, not like it's a huge thing to roll stuff, but it's nice to be able to take it in bulk back and forth.
Absolutely. Because once I get outside, I always, I would like to maybe transplant this plant. Oh, I have to go get the shovel. Oh, I forgot the pruners. I have to go back and get the pruners,
Yeah.
And that's a lot of trips back and forth. So I figured this new little device, this new little organizational device. I'm going to give it a try. I'm a little kind of excited about it, actually.
Yeah, I think it's going to work really well. And I think
do too. And it'll keep all of the long-handled tools in one place, and I don't have to be completely fastidious about where I place them.
Yeah.
They're all going to be in the one trash can, maybe, and kind of tie it to the hand truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, because I think we're looking at, or we're thinking about getting one of the large outdoor, like we have the bin, trash bin.
Yes.
And then kind of using a bungee cord to attach that to the hand truck.
Yeah.
And then you can roll it around easily. So
yes.
I think it's going to work good.
I do
very
too.
Ingenious.
I know, just very ingenious. Wow.
I don't know who came up with that?
I like that.
Just kidding.
I like that.
So that is one thing. So we are trying to clean up some stuff here that we've not done.
That's a very good fall
It is a good fall. It is a good fall activity. It's nice and cool out, and it's a good time to start, all of because as we were working in the summer and the spring, you tend to just kind of
you get overloaded.
Yeah, and you get an area where you just kind of have stuff.
Yes.
We'll get to it later stuff.
We'll
so
get
we are
to
cleaning
it
those
later.
up. Yeah, so that's good.
I actually did put into practice one thing that we talked about a couple of podcasts ago. We talked about ways to get yourself out of the doldrums.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking about thinking ahead and trying to plan your workflow. And during the conversation, I was thinking that maybe doing some trimming on one day, but not try to pick everything up immediately. The going back out the next morning when I have more energy. And then we did it on the day where they come by and they pick up the brown yard waste bags for composting and things like that at the city. And so I was able to do that so easily. I like that workflow. It seems to make a lot of sense, and I feel very positive about it.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's a good idea. Because if you don't do that, sometimes you're just absolutely killing yourself trying to do everything at one time.
Right.
Especially when you're trimming branches and stuff. Because that part, let's be honest, is kind of fun and not that hard.
That's
the
right.
hard part is then you look back and you got to say, well, I got to do something with all the stuff I just did.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So, no, good idea. Good job.
It was good. It came out very nice.
2 for 2, Mary. You're
One
2
of
for
our
2.
Vitex trees, I took time to clean off all the trunks and make them very smooth. So I really like that look.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, what else has been going on?
Well, we're just thinking about ways that we can restructure the garden to where it will perform the way we want it to, and also look more aesthetically pleasing. And so there are some pockets around the yard that we're going to be removing the plants that are in there that are just not like performing to their utmost, and replanting them with more. I'm going to look more towards the native plants. And this one little area that I'm thinking of right now is sort of a teardrop shape, or maybe a half a teardrop shape. And it is probably 8 feet long by 3 to 4 feet, at the widest point. And so what I'm thinking about putting in there is a golden thralis that'll grow up nice and tall and have yellow flowers through basically most of the year, like midsummer. And our golden thralis is blooming its head off right now. And so that'll be like the feature plant. And I'm thinking about putting some pink Gulf muley grasses kind of in a little semicircle around that. And then have some flowering plants like blue days down in the very front, and also try to encourage the gray dichondra that we like so much to come in there and create a ground cover so that you don't have to rely so much on mulch and things like that. Plus, this one little garden area that I'm talking about is neglected. So I want plants that can thrive on their own and not really have to have hardly any care.
Nice.
I think those will be good choices.
I think it's going to be good. I like it. I like the native ideas. So
yeah,
it's going to work good.
Sort of, in a way, it might serve a bit of a prairie-like feature, but it's not going to be as big as a pocket prairie might be.
Oh, nice. Looking forward to it.
Good. Okay, good. I mean, it is a lot of work. Getting your hands down in there and taking all the plants out. Everything's a lot of work
in the garden, let's be honest.
Yes, it is. I know.
The only thing that's not is sitting on the porch looking at it. So
it was crazy. The other day, we went outside and we could hear water running. I was looking everywhere for the water. And what had happened is one of our hoses had created this huge bubble.
Yeah.
And then it had burst.
That was crazy.
While we were doing stuff in the garden.
Yeah, I've never seen one do that before.
No, me either.
I mean, that was actually pretty bizarre.
That was bizarre, right? Yeah. So there's always things that you have to tend to and keep up with. So we're going to be looking at, I was looking at a repair kit. We'll probably have to see how we could get our hoses all ready for next year.
Yeah,
that's another activity.
That's what time it is. It's time to get your tools and hoses and everything else. Winter's a good time to go through all that stuff. Yeah. See what needs to be repaired and replaced.
Yeah.
Repair and replace, Mary. That's what we're going to do. Or like replace and not repair. We'll see. We'll decide. All right.
So really, I think that has all the stuff I have for what's new.
Okay.
What we've done in the past week.
Very good. Well, I know that we went and had lunch with some friends of ours.
We did.
Not too long ago. And you had, one of our friends had talked about a plant.
Yes.
And I think that was what you wanted to talk about today, correct?
That is correct.
And what is that plant/flower or?
Well, this gardener is a really good gardener and very excited about growing plants. And I was talking to her about sort of a shade situation for our porch, and she was telling me that she uses a plant which is called Esperanza, and it also goes by the name of yellow bells here in Texas. And so she uses that as a screening sunshade type plant off of the side of her porch. And I know about yellow bells. We actually have one in the backyard that I planted last year. It hasn't really, I don't think I have it positioned quite right, but so I was interested. I was listening to her story because in our area, we do have some frosts and freezes. But she was telling me that she trims it back almost to the ground. And so I was asking her, well, how long does it take if you trim it all the way to the ground? Like how long before it begins to provide that shade screen? And actually, she said that probably early June, it'll be up high enough to start creating a shade for her. And then it just keeps growing taller and taller. And so that's what got me interested in looking into yellow bells and finding out more about it. So it's a beautiful, beautiful plant, and it's probably considered evergreen. Like we do have a few frosts and occasionally we have hard freezes in our area, but in areas where you don't have a lot of that, it'll be an evergreen plant. And so the scientific name is Tacoma stans. And it comes from a word, I hope I pronounced this correctly, from the Nahuatl language.
Hey, that was good. That was impressive,
I looked it up.
Very impressive.
They are an indigenous Mesoamerican people, and the name Tacoma meaning tubular flower, and the stans, I believe, is referring to its very upright growth habit. And so that's how it got its name. It's in the family. Oh, here's another one. Bignoniaceae.
Okay.
So the relatives are the desert willow and the crossvine. The catalpa tree is another relative that it has. And I love this so much. So when we call it Esperanza, that name means hope.
Okay.
So this plant is named for hope. Yeah, commonly, like I said, it's called yellow bells or yellow trumpet flower bush. And it's quite a native species from the southwest of the United States and on down through Mexico, and it can even be found in areas of South America. And some of the resources that I looked up describe it as being a desert plant, but other resources describe it as being quite well suited to be an oasis type plant. We'll have to see what we think about that. But anyways, several sources say Hawaii and South Florida you don't want to grow it down there.
Oh, really?
Because it can become invasive in those situations. And so I was asking, why would this be a really good plant for us here in Central Texas? We have a bit of humidity, more so than, say, the Sonoran Desert or something like that. So why would it grow well here? Mm-hmm. And so, I found out a few facts about this that I didn't know before. We want to grow it just like we want to grow the desert willow and our crossvine because it is such a great pollinator attractor. Those yellow tubular flowers are also exactly what a hummingbird is looking for.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
Mm-hmm. So it blooms. If you're in a frost-free area, this thing is going to bloom all year. So for us, I believe it will start blooming in early spring as soon as it gets warm. Mm-hmm. And there are some in front of our subdivision that are blooming right now that are just
they are. They're
beautiful.
Big. They're very big too, yeah.
How big do you think they are? Like maybe 12 feet tall?
Yeah, they're tall.
They're so tall, right?
At least 10 feet, yeah.
Yes. And they were only planted this past spring because I watched the landscape men put them in. And so the yellow on these plants, they could come in yellow. They could come in like a soft orange, or they could come in red. Those are the colors that are generally applicable. And the yellow on it is a different yellow. It's very, very clear. It's not a light yellow, but it's just, I don't know how to describe it. It's just a very clear yellow. Mm-hmm. Canary, sort of, maybe?
Yeah, I think that actually is a good, I do. That's kind of a good description of it. Canary yellow.
Canary.
I like that. They're really pretty.
They are quite pretty. And the foliage is glossy and sort of a darkish green color. And the leaves are very, very attractive. The leaves come out on the stem, and there's an odd number of leaflets, and they're kind of opposite one another. A little oval shape with a pointy tip to it, and they come off opposite like a little frond, sort of, and they're very decorative. So one of the things that I was so happy to learn about, and their role as a really good host plant is there's two things that they host the larval species for. One of them is the plebeian sphinx moth.
Okay.
And the other one is the dog-faced butterfly.
Okay.
Yeah, and I looked the dog-faced butterfly up, and what it does is there's two faces opposite one another on the wings that look like the snout of a dog.
That's cool.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I do think that butterfly is quite found in California. So I don't know if we have that here in Texas or not. But anyway, it's the larval host for those two species as well. And so, of course, the star attraction for all of us is the flowers.
Yeah.
And they're going to bloom for an extended period of time. They're about 2 to 3 inches long. And like I said, they come in yellow, light orange, or red, depending on the variety that you look for. So they are good and winter hardy. They're not going to die back in zones 10 to 11 USDA zones. But here in our area, we're colder than that, and we do get some frost. So what happens is you want to mound up mulch maybe, or leaves or things like that around the roots in the wintertime. And then you're going to cut the plants back to about 12 inches tall. And they should come back for you every spring, except, if there is a winter storm that's quite unusual, they may not come back then. But ordinarily, I think it's pretty dependable for people in our area.
That's neat. We've been looking for, we did the bamboo, which is, okay, I gotta say it's not growing as fast as I thought it would. I have no patience with plants at all. I'm sure it's going to grow up to be 100 feet, but good grief. I was really expecting more from it, but it's still cool.
It is cool.
It is, and it is growing, obviously.
Well, it is in a container, too.
It is. So I do like it. It's still really cool. But this will be cool because we've been looking for something that's more natural to give us a little more shade and a little more privacy.
Yes. Well, unlike the bamboo, this plant, the Esperanza, could go right in the ground.
Yeah.
Because it is a native and it's not invasive in our area. So it could be planted on either side of the bamboo and do very well.
Yeah.
Now, it really does need full sun to have your best blooming experience. And I think it could do well where we're talking about.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. It gets a lot of sun.
A lot of sun.
Sun's not going to be an issue, I don't think. So, no, I'm looking forward to it. I'm kind of excited. I like it. It's a fast grower.
Fast grower each year, yes.
Yeah, I like it.
So what was I saying? Oh, yeah, cut it back, mound it up. So I discussed all of that. Now, let me catch up on my notes.
I cut you right off there, but I was getting excited.
And I was asking my dear friend how quickly, and she was saying probably early June, it was beginning to put on a really good size.
That's nice.
And really the heat, even though it is hot, it's not quite as... I don't know the word to describe it, but you're not really like you're in an oven until early July.
Yeah.
And then you go from there through October. But so it should have a good amount of time to get some height.
Good. I'm looking forward to it. And
they do grow tall. There were different measurements in all the sources that I was reading up on. They say typically 5 to 7 feet tall. But some sources say you could get up to, and we've seen them in the front of our subdivision, between 10 to 15 feet tall.
Yeah, those are big ones down there. Yeah.
And if it's really frost-free, they could go 20 feet or above.
That's crazy.
And isn't that amazing?
Yeah, that'd be actually pretty cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting them in.
Very upright hedge type thing. And like I said, they love full sun. They'll tolerate afternoon shade if that's, necessary. But they'll probably be lanky. And they may not flower as well for you. And so what I was interested in is the first year that you plant these, you do want to baby them through the first year and the first winter. You want to make sure they get adequate water, nice, keep them moist. But then once they're well established, they're quite tolerant of having maybe a good deep water once a week. And during the hottest part of the day, their leaves might look droopy because it's an oven, but they'll bounce back for you, and they're pretty good in droughty, tolerant gardens and rock gardens, desert gardens, things like that. So, and they are so good for our soil. In our area, we have very alkaline soils with a rocky substrate, and that is what they love.
Okay.
So sometimes people have trouble with them blooming if they're in a container, and it could possibly be because your environment inside that container gets to be too much acid type soil, and you might have to balance that out a little bit and test it and see where you are. Like a blueberry plant, they really like that acid, humus soil. These don't like that. Okay. So anyway.
Okay.
And like I said, they're good for low water. So you could use these plants as a hedge. You could shape them the way you would like to. A container plant. You can grow one specific area as a highlighted specimen plant, that you're just going to enjoy that in that area. You could also use it for a screening plant. Or, interestingly enough, they make a very good windbreak.
Oh, wow.
And our yard has a lot of wind that travels right through it it's kind of like a valley-ish thing.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
And so it can be used for a windbreak. Then it is, I think this is important. Several sources talked about this. So if you want to plant the Esperanza, they recommend that as soon as you're certain that frost is over with in the spring, you want to plant the Esperanza where you want it. And you want to give it that full season of growth before the colder weather begins. Unlike most plants, they really like you to put it in the fall, so their roots can establish in the cooler weather. The Esperanza is just an outlier. They just like it the opposite way.
Okay.
So,
wow.
And then I have one more super interesting factoid or trivia about this, is that they were used to make bows for the bows and arrows.
Really?
That is one of their historical uses that have been documented. They've been used to make furniture and...
Well, man, I can't wait to see, because I haven't seen them up close, so the stock must be pretty solid.
Pretty solid.
Yeah.
I imagine a bow would have to be really strong, but a little flexible, maybe?
Flexible, but not being able to break.
Not being able to break.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
So I thought that was very, very interesting.
Very cool.
I'm excited about planting.
I am. You know what? After hearing this, I gotta say, where have you been all my life, Esperanza? Fast growing, big. Wow.
Flowering.
Flowery. Oh, my gosh, it's my dream plant. No.
Nice.
Maybe.
Okay.
For someone with no patience for plants, it might be just the perfect plant for me.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I know you're good about
that. But then over time,
nurturing.
You'll look out in the backyard and you'll go, oh, is that stick we planted?
I do. Absolutely.
Did we plant
everything
that
you
stick?
put in is great. You knew exactly what to expect. It's just, it is funny. We
have
look at
fun
them different.
Together.
We do have fun doing it. Yeah. Well, cool. All right. Well, thank you. Anything else on the Esperanzas?
Esperanza.
Outside of I'm ready for it. I want it. We're going to do them. I'm already thinking about where to put them, and we're going to have fun.
Well, as you go shopping for them and you want to check out the tags, because people have been breeding them for a while now to come in a variety of sizes. So you need to choose the size applicable to what you want the plant to do.
Yes.
And I think you'll be very happy.
Oh my gosh, make sure we don't get a small one, would you, Mary? I want the big grower. Whatever that is, let's go with the big grower. All right.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeffy, I was kind of wondering, have you got a Jeff's Corner?
You know, I do have a Jeff's Corner.
How lovely.
My go-to source, I love my source, the Texas A&M, and we're Texas Longhorns here because we live in Austin. But I do love the Texas A&M AgriLife site. They have a lot of awesome information out there.
They really do.
So I have to ask you, here's my question.
Oh, boy.
If you know the answer, you got to hold off.
Okay.
But if you don't, you can say that.
Okay.
Is a pumpkin a fruit or a vegetable, Mary? Do you know? And do you know what the difference is between a fruit and a vegetable? You don't know. I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
I'm going to go through
and
tell
you. I think I've always regarded it as a vegetable.
Yeah. See, I like it. I like that. I might have you on this one.
Oh.
So a little history.
Yes.
On how you consider something a fruit or a vegetable. So usually fruits and vegetables are named according to how they're consumed. So how people eat them versus how they see them is different, right?
Because it's a side dish.
So you're right. We see them as a dessert, a salad, part of a meal, whatever. So like a cucumber or a tomato. You don't eat that as a dessert, obviously. You eat them in a salad or cooked in a meal. But you would I would. I'm just going to say me because you're much smarter on this stuff.
Oh, no.
But I would say if someone said cucumber, tomato, I would say vegetable.
I would say vegetable.
But they're fruits. They're actually fruits. And the pumpkin, so people make stews and soups and everything out of pumpkin, but they also make, pies, desserts. So,
and breads.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, so what is it? What is it? I mean, how do you know? So I will tell you that a pumpkin is a fruit.
Oh.
Believe it or not.
It's so hard.
And the difference between a fruit and so I'm coming off the site here. I'm going to give them all the credit here. I just thought it was very interesting. The difference between a fruit and a vegetable is in how they grow. So all plants start from seedlings. So like a lettuce is a vegetable. It makes more and more leaves, and you harvest and you eat those leaves, right?
Right.
And if you let it go, eventually it'll make a flower stalk, and it'll make seeds for the next year's crop.
Right.
A pumpkin starts the same. However, their flowers become the pumpkin. Right? It becomes the pumpkin that you eat.
Yes.
So it starts with a few small plants and leaves, and as the leaves grow, more branches and stuff, things happen there. The flowers start to bloom on the plant, and those flowers obviously need to be pollinated by bees or pollinators. And then once it's pollinated, it develops into a fruit that we consume.
Oh, interesting.
So ultimately, a fruit relies on pollination of the flower to become the thing that we eat.
That is interesting.
What do you think about that? Now,
okay,
pop quiz for you.
Okay.
Well, I'm not going to be a pop quiz. So anyway, I'm going to let you know what these are.
Oh, yes, please.
Hey, I'm learning as we go here, right? So cucumbers, olives, tomatoes, eggplants, avocados, corn, zucchini, okra, which we have those giant okra out there.
We do.
String beans, which we have a bazillion of them. Peppers and pumpkins are all technically fruit.
No.
Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
And it's really because of the way they grow. And it's because of the the way they're pollinated and
interesting.
Things. Isn't that?
Yes.
I mean, and they are fruits because they come from a flower. That's kind of the technical piece of that.
Okay. Just the same as like an apple, but oh my.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Yes.
So I've just clarified for you and everyone listening to this podcast. I'm sure people probably know this. But I mean, I thought it was interesting. I mean, some of those, I have to be honest. Now, you can maybe, I mean, when it got to like string beans, I would not have thought about that as a fruit.
That's true. I would not have considered it a fruit. But now that we have grown the long beans for this season, which are still prolifically producing, yes, I've seen the flower.
Right.
And then it'll bring out the bean. Yeah. I mean, I could visualize what you're describing now.
Yeah, it's interesting. So it's because they come from a flower. And
so a true vegetable is like lettuces or like our Swiss chard that we're growing.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? So,
Yeah,
so
it
when you
is.
say you have, we would not technically have a vegetable garden with your zucchini, your okra, your beans, our peppers,
Wow.
your tomatoes.
Would it be the double-decker fruit garden?
Yeah. That'd be a big fruit garden. So I thought that was interesting.
That is completely exciting.
And I absolutely. So it's the AgriLife Today is a digital magazine that's out there in the Texas A&M website.
I do love it.
Yeah,
This has been
it's actually
great.
real. I mean, I think we talk about it a lot, but it's a really, really great resource for like all things. It's, farming and ranching, lawn and garden, science. I mean, it has a lot of stuff that has to do with agriculture. So
It does.
I definitely highly recommend that. And that is my go-to source for all my little tidbits. Because I would not have known any of that stuff. So that's pretty cool.
No,
though.
I would never have thought some of the things that you described.
Yeah.
I would not have categorized them as a fruit.
I gotcha.
You got me.
I gotcha on that. You're the expert here, but I gotcha.
Hey,
I'm gonna
stinky.
put one on there. All right, that's what I had for Jeff's Corner.
I applaud you.
Thank you.
And this is what I have brought to the table today. And I'm ready to wish everyone a very happy gardening.
Absolutely, and we're happy to be back, and we appreciate you guys hanging with us. But we are back, and we're going to be going into the holiday season.
So exciting!
I know.
You woke up with a vim and vigor this morning. You're ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready for the holidays.
You made us a checklist.
I did.
And you assigned different tasks
assigned.
You did project management.
Did a little PM work. Absolutely, a little project management, and
very good.
Now's a great time to kind of look around and see what needs to get done, and do a little maintenance or cleanup or whatever.
Yeah,
so
makes
we're gonna
life
do
interesting.
it. Yeah, we're gonna do it. All right, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, we appreciate you being here, and we hope to see you next time here at Mary Bird's Backyard Garden. Same time.
Same place.
We'll
Happy
see you.
gardening.
See you next week. Bye.